Hey friends, it's Simon Hurley, and I'm here at the Ranger booth at Creativation, showing some of the new Simon Hurley Create release, and I want to take a look at one of my new Maker stencils, which is awesome. So we're continuing the line of Maker stencils, and this might look a little bit confusing in the package, right, because there's all these little pieces, and it's not really just a continuous design. However, this makes this really awesome looking 3D window, and also a flower box where you can put those fun little flowers in. So it really coordinates with all the rest of my products. The reason why I had this idea is because I love stamp layering, but I wanted a little bit more of a versatile product, and I think this really does an awesome job, and also is at a great price point too. It's a lot cheaper than a stamp layering stamp set. So let's go in here and do some blending. I'm gonna start off. I'm working on Wendy's new 7-inch station, which is so awesome. So it's the little mini version, which is great for travel, but it's also great for card making because when I'm using the layering stencil like this, I don't really need all of that space. So this is gonna be really awesome. I'm gonna go in here. I'm going to use Over the Moon. So to do some blending, I'm just going to go in with my blending tools and just blend my inks out, right? It's pretty simple. It doesn't take too long to do these stencils. This one is a little bit more complicated because there's not a bunch of things you can create on it, right? I just wanted the window to be pretty big, so you've got a really awesome big window. And of course, there's lots of little layers in here. I'm going to show you guys that you can kind of skip some of the layers, or you can do them all to create that awesome 3D looking window, right? So another cool thing about this is you can go in with other colors and blend them out. So let's say you can't really do this with stamp layering, right? So on the same layer, I'm going in with one of the new colors, which is Guppy, and I want to just add a little bit of blending and shading there, which is super fun. So I'll do that. Then I'm going to lift that off, and the cool part about the station is I'm not having to worry about any tape right now, because if this was taped down and I was halfway through and then it rips my cardstock, that would be awful, right? So these magnets are super easy to pick up and move. If you want to mask any areas off with tape though, that might be a little helpful to avoid certain areas. Another tool that's really great to avoid certain areas, if I'm trying to just hit the small parts, is the detail blending tool, which has a foam on either side, and it's really awesome for getting into these tiny little areas, right? So I'm going to this part of the stencil. Now one way you'll know that you're at the next pattern part is they kind of fit in and piece together, but also this is going to be masking off the other part that we just blend. So I'm going to go in here. If you want the inks to kind of also create a 3D effect with just one layer, you can add more ink, and that's going to make it a little bit darker, and use a lighter hand to create a lighter area. So I'm going a little bit lighter at the top and darker at the bottom to create some awesome shading in there. Pick that up. I'm going to move this up just a tiny bit. Then I'll go in here and I'm going to just blend in that little section. And that finishes off kind of the cross panels. Now, if you want to make this a little bit quicker, another thing you could avoid is if you don't want to do that top part of the window, just tape that off and you can skip this whole top part, and you could just do the shutters and a square window if you want to. Right, so there's a lot of shortcuts you could do in this if you want to just make quicker cards, but I love the look once it's done. We wanted to give you an awesome 3D looking window, and also I feel like it's a little bit quicker than even having to go in and color in a whole stamped window. It's really fun to just go in with ink and play with that. So here I'm going to go with Topical Tango. Now I'm going to go in with a lighter hand to blend this as a lighter color. Right, so you don't need to go full strength or full intensity. You can go in with just a light hand and blend it out. Get a nice light color. So that's not what it's going to really look like if you use it full strength. But I'm going to show you why we're doing it a little bit lighter handed, right? Another cool part about these is you don't have to have tons of colors of ink. Just by the pressure of your hand, having one or two colors of that ink pad, or a couple different colors to layer together, you really only need one color, because you can go in with a lighter hand on one part, and then here we're going to go in with the second layer. And when I do this, I'm going to go in with that same color. This is Topical Tango. And I'm going to ink it up a little bit more and go in with a little bit of a heavier hand for that second layer. And of course, the more ink you add, the more darker it's going to be, because it's a translucent ink. So what that means is it's going to layer up and keep layering on top of each other to create a darker and darker color as you go, which is awesome. Now you could totally leave this as is. I'm going to create a little ledge down here. All you have to do is go in. I'm going to go back in with Gur, which is my brown color. And I'll go in here with Gur as well. And again, I'm adding a little bit of shading in here by going darker on the edges and a little bit lighter handed in the center. And you could leave it here again, but there's other part of these ledges you can go in and add. So again, detail blending tool. I'm going to go into here. And this creates a really cool 3D look as well. And then this bottom piece also just attaches right there. And the cool part about these stencils is you keep them straight up and down, so you're not really turning and shifting anything. You're just keeping them straight up and down, and then you're able to move the stencil just a little bit to blend your pattern together. So once I'm finished with that, here's what that looks like. So you get a really awesome 3D looking window. And another cool part about this, is for this part I don't need the station because I'm going to be moving this pretty quick. All you need to do is just go in with your hands, hold this down. I'm going to go in with Minty Fresh. I'm just going to use one color here. This is my lighter neutral color. I'm just going to go in here and lightly, I'm not even filling in all the bricks because this can be a repeating pattern. So just really lightly in here, going and filling in some of these bricks. It looks like nothing until you lift off the stencil, and then you got something really cool on there, right? So just go around the house, no masking needed. And it makes it look like it's on a brick building, right? Which is super cool. So I love this little brick pattern you can add in here to finish off the edge of that card, and it could just be one layer, right? So much you could do with this window. So look how awesome that is. What I love about this window is we've designed products that fit right inside of it. So you can use the Puppy Pun stamp set with their little paws in front of them too, and their little heads in there to be peeking out of the window. You can also mask this off and put a Christmas tree on the inside. I also cut this window out and made an interactive card with a bird on it on the inside. So much stuff you can do. Also, it's like a $5 or $6 price point. So it's really easy to just go in and justify that price because you can do so much with it, which is so awesome. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this demonstration of showing how to use my inks to blend together this awesome stencil to create a really awesome 3D layered effect. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.